Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be another movie review for guys. Now, this movie I'm going to be reviewing, I've been putting this movie off, and I don't know why. I know what you guys are saying. Why are you reviewing this movie now? You should have reviewed it back in January. I know, guys. It's the final film I need to watch for the Oscars. It is the only movie that is nominated for Best Picture that I had not seen prior to the Oscar nominations. And that movie that I'm going to be reviewing is American Sniper. Now, American Sniper is a film that I definitely wanted to see. I really did want to see it. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to see it. But it started to cause a lot of controversy. And a lot of people said that it wasn't as good as it was. And to me, I'm like, okay, maybe this movie is very slow. Maybe it's boring. Because with me, here's the thing. War films are not my favorite. I like war films overall, but there are some that I don't exactly like, and sometimes they can be very slow and things like that. It's just not my favorite genre. However, when they're very well crafted and they're really well done, then they can be really good. American Sniper happens to be very good, and honestly, it is an absolute masterpiece. It is definitely one of the best films of 2014, and it totally deserves all of the Oscar love that it got. This movie is amazing. I loved American Sniper. Now, American Sniper is definitely more of a character study than it is a war movie because we basically focus on this guy, Chris Kyle. He was a professional sniper who was in the Marines, the Marines and everything. He was in the Marines, and basically the plot of American Sniper basically focuses on him and the Marines and also his relationship with his wife, and basically their relationship's going well and everything. But then after Iraq happens, after 9/11, he wants to go on as many tours as he can because he wants to fulfill his duty and basically save America because he wants to save America. He wants to do what people are telling him to do, and he just wants to be a good sniper. And as time goes on, it starts to affect his relationship. He starts to, it starts to really take a toll on him, and that's basically the plot of American Sniper. Did I say Marines? I meant Navy. Navy. That's what he's in. He was in the Navy, not the Marines. But this movie is an absolute masterpiece. I'm going to talk about why there are a lot of things this movie did correctly that all war films should do. First of all, this movie perfectly. A lot of people say something about this movie, and I was on a live stream on the Stream of Awesome. Kane LaPlante, aka Kid of Awesome's YouTube channel. He does Stream of Awesome every week, and this guy comes on there, and let's just say that he bashes a lot of things, but he goes on there and is saying that American Sniper is glorifying Chris Kyle's life and making him seem like a hero and everything. Now, let me say this. It is not glorifying anything. All this movie does is tell you the facts, and basically you get to decide if he is a good person or not and what he did was justified. And I have to say, Bradley Cooper portrayed Chris Kyle perfectly. He was fantastic in this role. In fact, there were times where I completely didn't even recognize Bradley Cooper. I didn't even know, there were times when he was completely unrecognizable. He had the accent down really well. Did he exactly look like Chris Kyle? No, not exactly. He doesn't exactly look like Chris Kyle. I definitely could have seen some other people playing him, but Bradley Cooper was definitely very well casted. He definitely deserved the Best Actor nod he got. Something that he handled very well was he really showed how this started to take a toll on Chris Kyle, how much it started to affect him. Every time he kills someone, he starts to feel very guilty about it, and it really makes him feel sad and just awful. It really shows how awful it is to be in a war, and they portray that in this movie perfectly. To me, Chris Kyle, I'd say, yeah, he is a hero. Because here's the thing. All he did was do what he was told to do. He was saving people's lives. He saved people's lives. He was doing his duty. It was his job to do this, so that way he could complete his job. And to me, that is a hero quality. And it is admirable what he did. And you can see as time goes on, it just starts to affect him more and more and more. Some of the best parts of this movie, actually, are his decision making, because there are some scenes where he is very he really questions himself a lot. Should I kill this person? Should they die? Have they done some things that could get them to live? Should I just, not kill them? Should I, what should I really do there? And it really starts to make you think. There are a lot of times I was thinking, okay, what if I was in his position? And I like it when this movie started to do that, because it really made me more invested into his story, and I thought they portrayed that very, very well, and he gave a fantastic performance. He was great in this movie. Sienna Miller as Taya Renee Kyle is just as good. In fact, I feel she should have gotten supporting actress nomination because she was fantastic in this movie. Just her reaction, everything about her felt real. You see how affected she is by this. I mean, there are some scenes where the look on her face, she is absolutely horrified by what he is doing. There's a scene where he has to tell her that he's going to keep going on these tours, and she's just looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? And it really just shows how much it affected their marriage. But one of the things I loved about her character is that this did not make them divorce or anything. She stuck by him because she loved him, and she knew this is what he was passionate about and that he had to do this, and I love that about her character. And it affects her just as much as it affects him, and I love that about her character as well. I thought she did a fantastic job. She was absolutely fantastic. The chemistry between the two is definitely there. But as the movie goes on, you don't see a lot of their chemistry, but there are some times where you see any scene that they are in together, they have a lot of chemistry. I thought they both definitely seemed like husband and wife very well, and they both um, gave very good performances and really showed the struggle that they both were going through, definitely. Because, I mean, as time goes on, he misses a lot of things. He misses, he misses, getting to spend time with his daughter. He misses the birth of his son. He misses a lot of things, and you really feel bad for him, but that's just part of being in the Navy. It really is one of those movies that makes you never, ever want to be in the military. After this movie, I never want to ever join the military or go to war, definitely. This movie makes you never want to do that, and that is what good war movies do. So, because war movies recently, they have glorified war, they've made war seem like a great thing, and really, no, it's not a good thing. Even though we have these heroes saving our country, it's not a good thing. War is just, it's one of the worst things that could ever happen to you. It is. It's one of the worst things that could ever happen, and this movie portrays that perfectly, and I love the way this movie portrayed that. Was perfect. The supporting cast is good overall. Now, a lot of people said that there's really no one else you care about, and here, let me say why I think that there are people you care about, definitely. Max Charles gives a very good performance as his brother Colton. Let me say this. This is Chris Kyle's story, so the reason we don't focus much on the other characters is just because they weren't in his life as much, and he didn't get to have much interaction with them. That's why they don't get much focus. So for anyone who says that they don't have as much to do, it's because this is Chris Kyle's story. He is the American sniper of this story. That's why the movie's called American Sniper. So that's really what I'll say there. The directing by Clint Eastwood, perfect directing. Perfect directing. He perfectly portrayed this story, perfectly portrayed the idea of war and the idea of the tragicness that it can do to you. And another thing I forgot to say is that Chris Kyle starts to suffer from PTSD from all this, and some of the I just thought Clint Eastwood just directed this movie perfectly. Really, he really did a great job directing it. It's fantastic that he did that because his last movie he did, Jersey Boys, was not good directing at all, and he proved that he still got it. He still got it, and that is great. He's been kind of in an streak. I've heard people say this. He's kind of been an okay streak, where he's been giving okay movies, but this really was his big return, and I thought he did a very good job with this movie, and I really want to see Clint Eastwood do more movies like this. Don't do movies like Jersey Boys. I love musicals, but you are not the right person to direct musicals. Don't direct that. Direct movies like this, and you're good. So I was very happy with the final product, with what he with what came out of this. He did a great job directing this. The screenplay of this movie is fantastic. The lines of dialogue, it all just feels real. Sometimes there are lines of dialogue that didn't feel like lines of dialogue, it just felt like real conversations. Some of my favorite scenes in this movie are telephone conversations between him and his wife, and just the struggle that they're going through and their long distance relationship. It's very well done the way the writing was done. I thought the writing was handled perfectly here. The way the years go by, there are some scenes early in the movie that show some flashbacks of him as like a little boy and then a teenager, and then before when he's a rodeo cowboy, and all those scenes were perfectly constructed as well. And that's so you got to know his character. And as I said, this movie really is a character study, because the whole point of the movie, in my opinion, is he really a hero? Is he really a guy that did these, is he really a hero? Did he really do these things well? Some people complain that the movie does not show that. And see, me personally, I feel they don't show that because the movie wants you to figure that out on your own. And I think the movie portrayed that very well. The writing was very good, and I thought the writing was overall very solid. But by far, the best part of this movie is the cinematography and the action sequences. They are on your seats, breathtaking, nail-biting action sequences. or shall I say battles, because there are some scenes that were extremely hard to watch in this movie. I'm going to be honest. There were some scenes where I was on the edge of my seat. There were some scenes where I had to look away. They are very hard to watch. If you do not like movies like Saving Private Ryan, don't watch this movie. This is not for the faint of heart. It is very hard to watch at times, but they're done very well because that's how war is. It's not happy. It is brutal stuff, guys. Brutal stuff, and you see children getting shot, and there are points where you're like, why is he doing this? He has to do this. And again, he questions himself. He doesn't want to do it, but he has to do it because that's what he's doing for his country. He's fulfilling his duty as the American sniper, and he has no choice but to do that. And I love that the movie portrayed that very well, and I thought the cinematography was just gorgeous, gorgeous cinematography. There are some scenes where you see the sniper near the target, and they are beautifully shot, I have to say. And the scenes that were, the scenes that were during the war were just amazing to watch. I thought the cinematography was just perfect, absolutely perfect cinematography. The editing of this movie was really the only thing I was concerned about in this movie. I was worried that this movie was going to be slow and boring, and I wasn't going to like it, and I wasn't really going to be into it. But I have to say, the movie flew by. Really, it did. I was into this thing the whole time, and I'm surprised by how much I was into it. I was completely grasped into this movie the whole time. There's not one time I was like, I'm bored, I don't want to watch this anymore. Not one time I was like that. I was into this movie the entire time, and I think that's just how well done the writing is, how well crafted the performances are, just how well done all of that is fantastic. And one of the things I love about the movie is how much time they spend, is that they spend just as much time on him being a Navy SEAL and the sniper as him being a husband and father to his wife and kids, which I love, because that's something the movie had to portray. Because this movie's not just about him being a sniper. That's what people may think. But no, it's about him in general. What kind of person was he? What effect did this have on him? And the way the ending is done, I don't want to spoil what happens, because if you guys don't know what happened to Chris Kyle in real life, I don't want to spoil what happens because it's actually very surprising. But the way the movie ended, I love the way the movie ended. It was very subtle. It was very well done, and there's something they could have shown on screen, but they don't show it on screen. It was actually much more effective that way. It's a great example of it's really a great example of just reading is better than visualizing. You visualize it in your head. Rather than seeing it, you visualize it. And it's very well done the way they did that. And I love that the movie did that, because that was something that I just thought was extremely well done. Because they could have shown something on screen. They could have, and they don't. And I like that the movie didn't do that, because I mean, while this movie had a lot of balls and was a very ballsy movie, I do have to say that was something that they definitely did not need to show, and I'm happy they didn't, because they didn't really need to. And I thought that was extremely well done, and I love that about the movie. So overall, guys, I absolutely loved American Sniper. I personally feel it deserves all the awards it got. Best Adapted Screenplay, you betcha it gets that, because the way they just covered everything was perfectly. This movie is nominated for Best Picture. I definitely feel it gets that. It's not going to win Best Picture, but it deserves the nomination it got, definitely. It's very well crafted, and it definitely deserves that. It's a very tremendous movie. The acting, it's nominated for Best Actor from Bradley Cooper. I feel it's missing a nomination. I feel Sienna Miller should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress, because she was fantastic. Sound editing, sound mixing, I forgot to talk about that. This movie's extremely loud, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. The movie's extremely loud. This is a movie to watch with the sound turned way up. It is awesome to watch. It's a movie that I'd highly recommend to see in theaters, because it is very, very loud. Film editing's great. Everything about this movie is just fantastic. It is an absolute masterpiece, and I absolutely loved American Sniper, and I'm surprised by how much I loved it. But that's my review of American Sniper. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this movie. And now that I am finally done with Oscar movies, now I can officially do my Oscar predictions, which that is coming very soon. I don't know when, guys, but that is coming very soon. But I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. Also, guys, check out my letterboxd, because I am watching an HBO miniseries called The Jinx, The Life and Death of Robert Durst. And the way I'm going to review it is I am reviewing each episode on letterboxd, because they have it as they have it listed on Letterboxd, and it's a mini series. What I decided to do is I'm gonna review each episode individually, but on Letterboxd, and talk about what I initially thought of that episode. It's a really solid show so far. Highly recommend you guys check that out. If you guys want to check out my reviews, I will post it down below. I usually post my reviews for the movie, but I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.